If you've ever yelled at your child and immediately have felt it in the pit of your stomach right after, you're not alone. Most parents don't want to yell. They yell because they're overwhelmed, they're exhausted, and honestly, it feels like nothing else is working. And honestly, yelling can feel very effective in the moment. Your child freezes, the behavior stops, they're still and silent. But the calm that comes from yelling is very short lived. The behavior usually comes right after, like, what's up with that? And now there's guilt layered on top of the frustration. So let's hear something that gets misunderstood. Discipline is not about punishment, discipline is about teaching. The word discipline actually comes from the same root as disciple. It means to guide, to instruct, to build skill over time. When discipline is based on fear, it may control behavior temporarily, but it doesn't build a skill your child actually needs to regulate themselves long term. So, if yelling hasn't been giving you the result that you want, it's not because you're being soft. It's because yelling doesn't actually teach the skill that you're hoping for. Children don't learn emotional regulation from being emotionally overwhelmed by an adult. They learn regulation by being with a regulated adult. So, the first shift in discipline without yelling is this: you regulate yourself first. Doesn't mean that you never get angry. It simply means that you don't let anger lead the interaction. You slow your voice, you ground your body. You take a deep breath before you respond. And that single pause changes the entire interaction. The second shift is moving away from the punishment and toward natural and logical consequences. Punishment is about making a child feel bad for the behavior. Natural consequences teaching cause and effect. For example, if your child throws a toy, the toy is put away, not as revenge, not with anger, simply as a natural outcome for what happens when a toy is being thrown. This teaches responsibility without humiliation. The third shift is separating the child from the behavior. You're not disciplining your child as a person, you're guiding the behavior. So instead of saying, "you're being bad," you say, "I am not okay with hitting." This protects your child's sense of self while still setting a clear limit. The fourth shift is using predictable structure instead of emotional escalation. Children behave better in systems that are consistent. When expectations are clear and consequences are predictable, kids don't need to test as much. This is why routines, clear rules, and follow-throughs matter way more than volume. The fifth shift is teaching your skill outside of the crisis moment. Most discipline attempts happen when emotions are already very high. But learning doesn't happen when in the middle of a meltdown. In the moment, your job is safety and contentment. Later, when your child is calm, you can teach your skill. You may say something like, "Hey, earlier, when you were frustrated, you threw that toy. Next time, you can stomp your feet or you could squeeze a pillow instead." This builds a toolkit that your child can actually use. Now, let's talk about what to say instead of yelling. Instead of, "Stop it right now," try, "I'm not going to let that happen." Instead of, "How many times have I told you?" Try, "This isn't a choice. I'll help you." Short, calm, clear. Children respond better in calm authority than emotional intensity. Another important piece is repair. Repair, repair, repair. Even the most regulated parents lose it sometimes because we all know, children be testing you, okay? Repair doesn't undermine authority, it strengthens trust. Repair sounds like this: "I shouldn't have yelled. I was frustrated. That wasn't your fault. I'm working on staying calm." This teaches your child big feelings don't break relationships. And finally, there's a reframe for parents. Your job is not to control every single emotion or behavior that your child has. Your job is to build your child's ability to control themselves over time. And that takes repetition, it takes modeling, and it takes consistency. You don't become a calm disciplinarian overnight. You build a skill the same way your child builds theirs, one regulated response at a time. So if discipline has felt heavy, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It means that you've been carrying the weight of the behavior without the tools to actually teach the skill behind it. And now you have both tools. And of course, you don't have to raise your voice to use them. Bye, guys.